They named me Hope, but they always treated me like Plan B. It wasn't a blow-up fight that made it clear. It was a casual Tuesday. My mother, stirring her tea, said, "We'll visit Lana's family for Christmas. You understand, Hope. It's just they're the priority." My father nodded. My sister, Lana, offered a sympathetic smile that didn't reach her eyes. That's when the last thread of my belonging snapped. Not my heart, but my obligation. I just nodded. I see. Before I tell you how I dismantled a lifetime of conditioning, tell me where you're listening from. Have you ever been the afterthought in your own story? My name is Hope. Our San Diego home was a stage where Lana was the permanent star. The air itself seemed to bend toward her. I was the reliable backdrop. I was loved, but conditionally. It was a love that whispered, "You're so capable," which really meant, "You'll manage on your own." Her birthdays were galas. Mine were last-minute cupcakes. My college send-off was a wave from the porch. I built a stable, quiet life in Portland as a graphic designer, while their calls were brief updates that always swerved back to Lana's latest crisis. After the Tuesday, as I called it, the requests kept flowing. A text. "Hope, can you cover Mom's phone bill this month? Things are tight." An email from Lana. "My car registration surprised me. Any chance you can float me?" I used to respond instantly. This time, I let my phone darken. The sky didn't fall. Their second text carried a new tone. "Is everything all right?" That silence was my awakening. I began the quiet untangling. I opened a separate bank account. I revoked shared streaming services I paid for. When Lana asked for a tiny loan, I replied, "I'm not able to." The bewildered phone call from my mother was a masterpiece of performative concern. "You've changed," she said. I hadn't. I'd just finally opened my eyes. The real test came 8 weeks later. A Sunday night call, my father's voice gravelly, with faux calm. "We need a family meeting. It's important." I flew to San Diego. The living room smelled of stale coffee and dread. Papers were strewn like confetti after a panic attack. Lana's husband, Mark, stared at the floor. My father laid it out. A failed investment, a loan called in, a cliff's edge. "We're looking at losing the house," he finished, then turned to me. "You're established. You have savings. You don't have a family to support." It wasn't a request. It was a readout of my predetermined role. I let the silence swell. Then I asked, "What's your recovery plan if I say no?" The question was an alien sound. My mother gasped. Lana's head jerked up. "What do you mean if?" she breathed. "I need to think," I said, and left them in their chaos. I didn't think. I planned. I met with a financial advisor. I drafted a document. When I returned, I placed a single folder on the coffee table. "This is how I can help." It was a formal loan agreement. Interest-free, but with ironclad conditions, a budget they'd all adhere to, the sale of my father's classic car, his pride and joy, mandatory financial counseling, and biweekly family therapy sessions for 6 months. Most importantly, a clause stating this was a one-time restructuring, not a renewable resource. "You're treating us like strangers," my father boomed. "No," I said, my voice steady. "You've treated me like a vault. Strangers have better boundaries." Lana cried. "We'll lose everything. And if I do this without terms," I said, "I will lose everything I've built. My security, my peace, my future. Why is your stability more important than mine?" My mother reached for me. "We never wanted you to feel less." "But I was less," I said, gently moving my hand away. "You just said it out loud." I gave them 24 hours. As I walked to the door, my father asked, "If we refuse, is this it?" I turned. "It's not a refusal of you. It's an acceptance of myself." The next day, the documents were signed in tear-smeared ink. The fallout was a quiet earthquake. The car was sold. The budget was enforced. Therapy was brutal and awkward, but in the third session, my father said, "I think I confused being needed with being respected." It was a start. Back in Portland, the weight was gone. My phone buzzed with mundane updates, not demands. Lana sent a meme. without a follow-up request. It was normal. The greatest shift was internal. I wasn't waiting for a promotion in my family's hierarchy. I'd resigned from the company. I built a table of my own, where I would never be an optional seat. Being last wasn't my fate, it was their blindness. And I decided to stop living in the dark. If you've ever been the family's emergency fund, the reliable ghost, let me know in the comments. You're not alone. And if you're ready to write your own terms, subscribe. Your story is just beginning.